We're laughing.
Hey, welcome into the Stinkin Truth Podcast. Mark Schlereth alongside Mike Evans, and thank you so much for consuming us. We appreciate that here on YouTube. Make sure you click the like and the share buttons. Send us a message. We'll try to get back to you on that as well. Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. We're getting into December, the heart of December, and these games really start to get ratcheted up the importance. And let's jump right into it. I saw a lot out of Buffalo last week that I didn't know that they had in going into Kansas City. So much is being made of Mahomes and the call and the penalty and all the controversy. I think what was kind of lost in all that was, hey, Buffalo showed something.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think that, elite level defensive ability, I don't think there's any question about that. So I think that's big time. I think, obviously, Josh Allen and their offense, they've got unbelievable weapons, and all those things are true. Now, they may have played themselves in such a hole that even if they win out, they still may be in trouble in regards to tiebreakers and everything else. And you've got to believe, they've got Dallas this weekend, so, that's going to be a really tough matchup, albeit in Buffalo. If they win that game, then I think that changes. If they win out, I think they're in. But if they go 3-1 down the stretch, then there are 2 or 3 other teams that if they have the same record at 10-7, that I think they'll lose out in tiebreakers too. So I think for Buffalo, good that they played that way against Kansas City, but I believe that they have to win out to be a playoff team. I really think, and they may have played themselves in that hole. And we're talking tiebreakers or head-to-head competition. We're talking about the the conference champion or the conference record and all those things.
Well, they finish up home against Dallas, at the Chargers. Chargers are done.
Yeah.
Home against the Patriots, and then at Miami. And I guess maybe it would come down to,
does Miami have something to play for?
Exactly.
Are they playing for home field advantage? And let's face it, Miami had a 14-point lead going late into the fourth quarter last week and ended up coughing that thing up and losing to a Tennessee Titans team that's playing a rookie quarterback and is challenged. So, yeah, everybody is flawed as a drugstore diamond. When you talk AFC, I think probably right now, the team that you would look at and say, man, that's the one team in the AFC, that feels like they've got the most staying power, that feels like they're the toughest team is Baltimore.
Yeah, but they're quarterbacked by a guy that has a checkered playoff history.
Record. Right.
Yeah.
But down the stretch, you feel like Baltimore is the leader in the clubhouse. And then everybody else is kind of a muddled mess.
So Dallas and Buffalo is kind of fascinating to me because are you showing more faith in Dallas than I thought you would? Dallas going on the road to Buffalo in December? You seem to kind of trust Dallas in this environment, this game.
I just trust. I think Dallas is a good team. I think they're a really good team. And I think they're feeling very confident in what they are and who they are. And when you play Philadelphia and you throttle Philadelphia, even though you're at home, when you match them like physicality for physicality and you end up winning that battle, because I know that Dallas is very skilled. I know their receiving core are very skilled. CeeDee Lamb and the rest of those, very skilled. Their tight end, very, very skilled. I know their running back right now is very skilled, but they dominate a line of scrimmage. And that's always impressive to me. And then defensively, Dallas is a dominant defensive football team at all 3 levels. They have that ability. And they've honestly got, and I think he takes the mantle, the best defensive player in football. So I was talking to a head coach, this is 2 weeks ago, talking to a head coach that reached out to another head coach, right, and said, hey, we're getting ready to play the Cowboys, little scouting report, if you will, because these coaches, they develop friendships and everything else. Mm-hmm. And this particular head coach said, in regards to the Dallas Cowboys defense and in regards to Micah Parsons, however good you think he is on film, times it by 10. Like, that's how dominant a player he is on the football field and how many different things he does. Because think about it, Mike. He'll line up defensive end. He'll line up like a stand-up defensive tackle. He'll be at the linebacker position. He can drop back in coverage. Like, there's nothing that he can't do and that he can't do exceptionally well. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think that if he lined up at defensive end or edge player on a consistent basis, he'd lead the league in sacks. Right? He's just so good. And then you couple that with guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and Odigizua and some of the other guys they have. They've got players, man. They have got big-time players.
So you're not swayed at all? You're not concerned at all about the road record? 3-3 on the road, and in their 3 losses, they gave up 28, 42, and 28 points. And these next 2 weeks, they're going to Buffalo and Miami. I thought you might want to pump the brakes on the Cowboys until maybe you saw what they did these next 2 games on the road.
I think the way they're playing right now and the confidence with which they're playing, I think they have gained in confidence and gained in understanding of who they are. Like, I think one of the great things that really good coaches do is they establish their strengths and then they lean hard into those strengths. And that's what I always talk about when it comes to identity. I need to have an identity in what I do, and my players need to be able to rely on it. And over the course of years, as I'll consult with some teams, and in the off season, I'll travel out and sit down for 3 days and go over film, and I've done this with several different teams. And one of the things that I've always impressed upon them, whether it was Joe Gibbs or Mike Shanahan, one of the things that was very comforting to me as a player is I knew what we were on 2nd down and 1. I knew we're not a shot team, we're a conversion team. And I knew what plays were going to get called. So I knew in the huddle, when we got into one of those situations, 3rd down and 1, 2nd down and 1, whatever the case was, I knew there's 3 plays coming into the huddle. And to me, part of it was those plays I could run in my sleep regardless of what you show me on defense. It doesn't matter what the front is. I know how to block it. So there will never be a situation where there's confusion. I'll never be confused. I will always know what my responsibility is and how I'm going to get that done. So there's comfort in understanding that and having that reliability of, I know that I'll out-execute you regardless of what you do as a defense. I'm going to out-execute you. So there's that part of it. And then the second part of that, Mike, is you're showing me as a coaching staff that you have confidence in me as a player. And that's empowering. Because now all of a sudden, like, there is not one coach who's going to make a play this weekend. They're going to stand around their ass off all weekend long. That's what they do. They're coaches. So they're not going to make a tackle. They're not going to throw a block. They're not going to have a nice run. They're not going to have a nice throw. Nope. It's not what they do. They call plays. And ultimately, it's you as a coach empowering me as a player to believe in myself by you believing in me. Does that make sense? Like that?
Sure.
And for me, that was empowering. Like, it's 2nd down and 1, man. I know you're running right up my ass. So I got to do my job because the whole team counts on. Like, every guy in this offense knows. And the guys on the defensive side, they know. They're going to run left. That's what they do. Let's go. I love that.
Baltimore and Jacksonville, good AFC matchup, 2 division leaders. We were just talking about Baltimore a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in the Ravens, in Lamar Jackson, that would make you feel confident that he and they are poised to do something in the playoffs that they haven't done yet?
I think their passing game is much better, and it's not reliant upon running the ball so well that you're going to get the look you want. So I think one of the big things about coaching is getting reliable looks from the defense. So your job is to say, hey, listen, I'm going to get in this formation, and I know, or this personnel group, Mike, and I know beyond the shadow of a doubt we're going to get one defense, or we're going to get one of 2 defenses, right? We're going to get one front. I know we're going to get this. So part of your job as a coach is the reliability in saying, I'm going to get it to this, and I know they're going to give me this. So there's very little deviation on the defensive side of the ball. So what we practice is going to be true in every situation. I think what they have done, though, in their passing game under Todd Monken, I think it's Todd Monken that's their offensive coordinator now, is they have increased their ability to throw the ball. They've gotten more weapons. Odell Beckham Jr. is there. Flowers is there as a rookie. Like, they've gotten more weapons there. But they don't have to have every look be reliable to have opportunities in their passing game. Mm-hmm. So where it used to be is like, hey, man, we're going to get into some heavy formations. We're going to run the crap out of the ball. We're going to set up our run action stuff. And we know you're going to get into single high safety. You're going to have an 8-man box. So I know I have access on the outside one-on-ones. And when it comes to one-on-one throws, I don't have to layer the ball. I can just throw I don't have to be as talented as if I get a bunch of zone stuff. Right, and now I got to throw one over a linebacker in front of a safety, and I've got to be able to layer the football, and I got to have a little bit more touch to my game. I think they have increased their ability to not only dominate against zone in the passing game, but also get that one-on-one matchup that they love because Lamar cuts people up in that. I think he has increased his ability as a quarterback based upon what they've done this year.
I'm not saying losing Mark Andrews is a good thing, but is there a silver lining in it in that it sort of forced Lamar in this offense to expand?
I mean, Mark Andrews is one of the best tight ends in football, and that always hurts, especially in critical situations, because in critical situations, you're still going to get to the point where you're like, hey, man, where's my best matchup? Well, it's that guy. Okay, how am I going to get him the ball? And oftentimes, even if he's double covered, you're like, he's double covered, he's still open. Like, I'm just going to fit the ball into him. But yeah, I think there is. I think in life in general, there is benefit to when you get your security blanket taken away. Because you either do one of two things. You either curl up in the fetal position like a millennial, or.
Just say that. You love taking millennial shots whenever you can.
So
in that case, you're not a conversion guy. You're a shot guy.
Yeah. You gotta either curl up in the fetal position like a millennial, or when you're
boomer,
or when your binky gets taken away, you grow.
Binky, right?
Yeah,
right,
if your
right.
binky gets taken away, you either grow or you curl up.
When did your favorite blanket get taken away from you as a kid? Kicking and screaming.
What's that?
Did you have a favorite blankie? Your binky? Did your binky get taken away from you?
Mike, come on.
Huh?
Come on.
10, 12? How old were you?
Yeah. When I got kicked out of my parents' bed at 13? I don't. Yeah, I did have a blanket.
Yeah.
I had a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a sensitive guy.
Yeah, I know. You still are a sensitive guy. Behind all those muscles is a sensitive guy. So,
what do you think of my alarm T-shirt, by the way?
Dude, you're looking yoked.
I'm freaking. I'm ridiculous.
You're looking ridiculously yoked.
I am so big right now. This is my alarm. My buddy, one of my buddies from college, one of my vandals, sent me this. I just got it yesterday.
That looks good. Yeah.
I love the alarm.
You look yoked.
Mike Peters and the alarm. Shout out to you guys.
Jacksonville. Who's Jacksonville?
That's a great question. Who is Jacksonville? That's a great question. It's a really good question. They are like everybody else. They're a team that can hang 40 on you and make you look foolish, or can roll over and get beaten by anybody. They are what their record says they are. They're 8-5. I think they're a good team, Mike. I think they're a really good team, but I don't think they're a great team. And I don't think there are many great. In the AFC, as a matter of fact, I don't think there is a great team. I think there's any one of these teams can beat any of the teams in the AFC and can lose to any of the teams in the AFC. I don't think there's much difference. I don't think there's a real differentiator between Jacksonville and Indianapolis, or Jacksonville and Miami. Or if Miami can go into Tennessee, it wasn't Tennessee, was it?
Miami.
Oh, it was in Miami. Miami can play Tennessee at home and lose a 14-point lead in the last 3 minutes of the game, or whatever it is, 4 minutes of the game. Yep. Then any of these teams can beat any other team.
It feels like the NFC's top-heavy teams, they're heavier than the AFC, right?
Well, I don't
the
think
NFC's better at the top, then the
Yeah.
AFC is better at the top.
I don't think there's any question that the strongest rosters.
Yeah.
And this goes to roster building. You know, everybody is so enamored with the quarterback position. We just need one quarterback, and the quarterback's going to change our lives, and blah 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 blah. Like, how many championships has Buffalo won? You know, I mean, and now I understand the Kansas City argument, right? That Patrick Mahomes is the boogeyman, but look what happens when the rest of the team offensively isn't quite what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
They're an 8-5 team, whining about an offsides penalty, like crying like a bunch of biatches about line up on sides. I don't know what to tell you. By the way, on that, and we probably talked about this already, but I've been in a lot of games where the official said, "Hey, 69, scoot up on the ball, get up on the ball," right? I'm giving you a warning. And if you're too dumb to check down the line of scrimmage, and I'm sure there was a warning or two before that point, because that's just how the officials do it. Hey, back up, right? Hey, get up on the ball, whatever. And eventually you just go, I'm not going to continue to tell this guy how to play the game. He has to know. There's
Andy
a
Reid
reason.
said Tony didn't check
He
with the official
didn't
prior
check.
to the
He
play.
didn't even look.
No.
He didn't. All you got to do is look down, and they'll go like this.
I'm in, and yeah.
Yeah, there were plenty of guys in that same game that looked at the official, go, "Am I good? Am I good?" You could see him going, "Am I good?" The official go like this. He'll go, "Hey, back up a little bit." Or get up on the ball a little bit, whatever the case may be. But he didn't do that. There's a reason that guy is as talented as he is. That dumbass has been on 2 teams now. Why? Because attention to detail. It cost you games. That cost him. That cost the Kansas City Chiefs a game. Just like, you know, in game 1 when the ball went right through his hands and it's a pick 6 to Brian Branch. Like, that stuff costs you games, especially in a league where the talent differentiator is next to nil. It's razor thin. You got to be on point on everything you do. Dumb guys get you fired. It just is, and like it. That sounds terrible because I don't know him, right? But that's dumb.
I was happy to see Patrick Mahomes come out and apologize for his behavior.
I was happy to see him lose.
Well, I know you were. Denver Bronco, Kansas City Chiefs,
right.
but
yeah.
But I think I don't have anything against Patrick Mahomes. I think he's one of the more likable superstars out there. I like him. I like him.
That for me is like eating a turd sandwich.
I know it is.
I'm
but
full because I ate the turd sandwich, but it tasted like shit.
Right.
Right. So that's like that. I like Patrick Mahomes, and that goes against all things holy for me.
And I like him too. I think a lot of people like Patrick Mahomes, and to see him act like a petulant child after the game was kind of like, oh man, Patrick, I don't like that side.
It's kind of oddly. At first, it was oddly satisfying, right?
Yes. There was part of me that found it very satisfying.
Yeah.
But there was also the part of me that was like, come on, dude.
Right.
You know, show a little bit more class.
Especially when you're talking to Josh Allen and you're whining about a call.
Right. So the fact that he came out and apologized, and specifically apologized to Josh, I thought was the classy thing to do.
Yeah, no, I think
kind of restored my hope.
Right. I think so. And I think part of that was the boiling over of all the lack of attention to detail that they have kind of fought through all season long with the lead the league in drops and everything else. So I think there was part of that as well, Mike, that led to that.
You want to take this opportunity to check in with your favorite fan base, the Philadelphia Eagles? Is this the get-right game for Philly, having lost 2 in a row? They go to Seattle,
I know.
and the wheels have come off in Seattle.
Man.
Lost 4 in a row, 5 of their last 6.
You know, I do a segment in Seattle every week with my former teammate Dave Wyman in Seattle, and he played some sound from me about some Seattle reporter asking Pete Carroll, do you think your defense, do you think your message has gone stale, type of thing?
Ooh.
That was the genesis of the question. And they just played the answer. Pete, he goes, I don't know, you got to ask them. Next question. That was the whole thing. And I was like, Pete Carroll's pissed. And you think Pete Carroll is your avuncular, oh, it's Pete Carroll. He's always jogging around and chewing gum. Right? But I will tell you this, and I love Pete. I love Pete Carroll. I did a preseason game, hanging out with Pete in the facility and everything in the gym. And I have walked out of meetings with Pete Carroll like it's like scene from Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? Like that's how I felt. And then I've walked out of a meeting with Pete Carroll, a production meeting with Fox, and going, Pete Carroll doesn't know who I am. He does not know my name. He's just like when he's on a tangent about something or on he can't get off it, right? And just that soundbite in general, you can hear the frustration and the disappointment in his voice. Like, man, for whatever reason, it's not getting through to my players, and we should not be in this position. There's part of me that feels like, it's like back a wounded animal into a corner and be careful because that thing's going to come out hunting. Now, it is a Seahawk. I don't know how vicious Seahawks are. It'll poke your eyes out. Aye! Right? Aye! Oh, no, that's not a Seahawk.
No,
right?
it's more like a call. Yeah. Very, very shrill.
Very shrill sound the Seahawk makes.
Look, you want to play a little game?
Yes, I do.
You love games.
I do love games.
You love games too, people. Tell me if this coach's message has gotten stale, and that's why it might be time for a change. Okay?
Okay.
Pete Carroll.
No.
Mike Tomlin.
It's Mike Tomlin, man. No, he doesn't have a quarterback. He's playing Mitchell Trubisky. No.
Bill Belichick.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit with Mike.
With Tomlin. A little bit. Maybe
a little bit with both. I'm going to give it like a scale of 1 to 10.
Like a pie. Like a stale pie. How much stale pie are you going to cut off here?
I'm going to, each of those guys, there's a slice of pie that is just really stale.
Okay. Small pie.
Yeah, how many good wedges on a regular pie?
Regular pie, probably about
8 wedges.
Yeah, I'd say 8 wedges.
1 wedge of the 8 is gotten stale.
Okay. Bill Belichick's pie.
Bill Belichick's pie is about 7 of the 8 wedges are stale.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time. I think the report is he's going to step down as the head coach of the New England Patriots.
Mutual parting of the ways.
Yeah, mutual parting of the ways, which means where will he go? Hey, for everybody involved in the Stinky Truth, we thank you so much. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more content just like this. If you want to see more of our videos, you can also be sure to check out our playlist. Let us know exactly what you think in the comments below. We appreciate you guys so much for being a part of that.
Don't forget to follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest updates. Links are in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.